This is 5 on 20 News. I'm Rich Gary.
And I'm Tammy King, and we're coming to you live from our studio in downtown Tucson. It's Thursday, January 4th. Let's talk local headlines.
Let's do it. University of Arizona Athletic Director Dave Hickey announced yesterday that the Arizona Wildcats have fired head coach Rich Rodriguez in a letter co-signed by Hickey and the University of Arizona President Robert C. Robbins. Reasons for the decisions were based on several factors such as the direction and climate of the football program, also known as what happened to our celebrated team. Don't shed too many tears for Rich Rod just yet. The University of Arizona is honoring his separation terms in his contract, which comes out to a nice $6.3 million buyout. In another statement from Hickey, he said, after conducting a thorough evaluation of our football program and its leadership, both on and off the field, President Robbins and I feel it is in the best interest of the University of Arizona and our athletics department to go in a new direction. You may also remember back in October, Rodriguez had legal trouble stemming from that of a sexual harassment allegation, which after investigation was found unsubstantiated. Or maybe it was because we lost 4 out of our 5 football games, including the Foster Farms Bowl. Wildcat fans are torn about which is worse.
Yep. This just in. The Arizona Supreme Court ruled that the police cannot place GPS devices on the vehicle to track its movement without first getting a warrant. How is that not already a thing? Oh yeah, Arizona. This new law is relevant in the sense that 2 men were arrested for money laundering and transporting pot in a truck. And the way they were caught was by officers installing a GPS tracking device on the vehicle without obtaining a warrant. Unfortunately for the men arrested, because the state of the law wasn't cleared up until this point, the conviction stands. A big argument made for warrantless GPS tracking of citizens was that people were only being surveyed on public roads where they can be seen by anyone. Chief Justice Scott Bale said in a statement that new technology allows police to surveil more effectively public locations and activities, does not change the public nature of the location or constitute a violation of one's reasonable expectation of privacy. Big Brother is definitely watching you, and he really likes to watch. Former U of A coach Rich Rodriguez has expressed interest in starting a new career in the police force.
I like how that article said pot.
Pot.
Like it's from the 1940s.
Not marijuana.
Mm-hmm. Tucson area State Senator Steve Farley says that he raised $513,000 in individual contributions for his race for the governor's office this year. Farley also said on Wednesday that he took in $118,000 in contributions to the state Democratic Party to help support other candidates in the state. He will face David Garcia for the Democratic primary later this year. Garcia is an ASU professor who used to be in the Department of Education as an official and unsuccessfully ran as superintendent in the state. Garcia says that he will release his fundraising numbers later in the month, but that he focuses right now on issues, not money. In a response, Farley released a viral video of the candidate making it rain until the dollars spell out, "Suck it, Garcia."
Yeah, take that. 4 of the best 5 cities to find a job are located in Arizona, according to a study by the website WalletHub. The site found that Chandler, Peoria, Scottsdale, and Gilbert finished in the top 5, with San Francisco being the only non-Arizona city to get on the list. Tucson landed at a not terrible but not great 104 out of 182, cementing our reputation as fine, I guess. WalletHub compared over 180 cities using 26 metrics to determine the strongest job markets across the country. These metrics included the number of job opportunities, employment growth, and average starting salary. On the opposite end of the list, Columbus, Georgia, Newark, New Jersey, and Detroit came near the bottom. In last place was Shreveport, Louisiana, I screwed that up, where the only jobs available there is shrimp wrangling, shrimp tasting, and shrimp whispering.
We practice all week.
I know.
It's Shreveport.
Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, in national and international news, Rich.
Yesterday, the Kremlin announced that Russia will deploy special air defense missile systems to help defend its potentially oil-rich Arctic territory. The new Tor M2DT surface-to-air missile system is part of a wilder buildup of Russian forces in the rapidly warming far north. Along with the basics like radar missiles capable of shooting down drones, the system is also able to bring down precision-guided munitions, like cruise missiles. The Tor is also the first air defense system specifically tailored for highly effective use against PGMs in extremely low temperatures and difficult terrain, something American forces have no equivalent to. Although the Arctic is becoming more heavily armed, this doesn't mean war is around the corner. According to Abby Tingstad, a scientist with the RAND Corporation, Moscow and its rivals in the north prefer to drill in the Arctic rather than fight there. Russian officials agreed, stating that they're definitely not training an elite group of Arctic SEALs to engage Americans in hand-to-hand combat, or hand-to-fin combat.
Yes. Donald Trump scrapped his commission on voter fraud, created after the president claimed without evidence that there was widespread voter fraud in the 2016 election. The White House announced that the dissolution late Wednesday with Trump signing an executive order. Trump placed the blame for the failure on states who refused to hand over voter information. The president repeated this in a tweet, stating that these states were mostly Democratic states, which was only half true. In fact, conservative states such as Mississippi had also refused to give up some voter data, citing privacy concerns. In the end, 8 states refused to hand over any data. These included Maine, Vermont, California, New Mexico, and South Carolina. The commission was criticized by civil rights groups who said that it was an attempt to de-enfranchise poor and minority voters. The commission was repeatedly hit with lawsuits over its methods and its lack of transparency. The Brennan Center launched lawsuits in Indiana, Texas, and Utah seeking to prevent voters' personal data being handed over to the commission. After winning the election, Trump claimed that over 3 million illegal votes were cast in the election. Even though the commission is done, it appears that the fight isn't over. Early this morning, Trump tweeted that voter ID laws need to be imposed. He also tweeted that voters should have to prove that they know at least 3 Budweiser slogans and that they've never knelt while the national anthem played. Trump is currently setting up a commission to study how to impose the new rules. The commission will then be promptly sued and fall apart like a crudely constructed elementary school diorama.
Marijuana. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is planning to end a policy that gave states leeway in allowing marijuana for recreational purposes. According to the Associated Press, Sessions will end the so-called Cole Memo, an Obama-era rule which ordered state attorney generals to not prioritize marijuana cases in states that had legalized the substance. So far, 6 states have legalized marijuana, with California being the latest. Massachusetts and Maine will roll out their recreational marijuana programs later this year. Sessions has long been known as an opponent of marijuana legalization and has hinted for months that he might crack down on the new friendly policy towards the drug. In May, Sessions sent a letter to congressional leaders requesting that they get rid of an amendment that blocks the Justice Department from using federal money to prevent states from legalizing marijuana. His decision set up a battle between states and the federal government, since it'll be even more clear about the legality of marijuana. Marijuana advocates criticize the news, claiming that this is the Trump administration's way to get back at Democratic states like California after the failure of the Commission on Voter Fraud. Reportedly, Trump will move the commission members into a new commission that will be tasked to film a remake of Reefer Madness. Jeff Sessions will likely play the main character, Jimmy Lane, who devolves into a life of crime after taking one puff of a joint. Sessions says that he looks forward to the commission getting together and teaching him how to look like he's doing marijuana correctly.
All right. The Trump administration announced today that they will suspend nearly all security aid to Pakistan, which could total hundreds of millions per year. The administration has grown frustrated with that they claim is Pakistan's reluctance to confront terrorist networks operating in their country. An internal government document read that the suspension is a freeze and does not reflect intent to reprogram funds at this time, meaning that the funds can be reinstated if Pakistan changes their policies. The White House did not release specific dollar amounts that would be frozen, but the administration already delayed $255 million in the State Department aid from reaching Pakistan. The president has repeatedly accused Pakistan of giving safe haven to terrorist groups. Tensions increased when Pakistan refused to hand over a member of the militant Haqqani network who are aligned with the Taliban. Since 2002, the U.S. has provided Pakistan with over $33 billion in aid. In addition to the funding freeze, the administration also put Pakistan on a special watch list for what it described as the country's severe violations of religious freedoms. In recent years, Pakistan has become more religiously intolerant during the build-up of religious schools funded by Saudi Arabia. This continues the U.S. policy of ignoring Saudi Arabia's terrible human rights record by blaming other Middle Eastern countries. When asked about the issue, a White House spokesman said that there isn't a country called Saudi Arabia, and everyone should stop worrying about it, and hey, why don't we bomb Iran while we're at it?
Sad they don't know that Saudi Arabia is a country.
Yeah.
Well, as electric cars are gaining popularity and growing closer to becoming an everyday reality, we have to think about what to do with the combustion engines and the electric grid future smart cars that will run on it. In the past year, transportation has surpassed power plants' 40-year reign as the leading cause of pollution. If everyone switched to electric vehicles tomorrow, it would obviously have environmental benefits, but even that would be like throwing a quarter at a sheet metal, hoping to make a dent. We still have to think about what to do with coal, which produces about a third of America's energy. With renewable energy only making up about 15% of electricity, production there would be a high likelihood that your electric car will be powered by fossil fuels or uranium. Or maybe we scrap the idea of private transport altogether, and we can all be late for work together because some creep on the bus peed on the driver.
And I wanted to take a moment to talk about the program that you're watching right now. Here at 5 on 20, we are undertaking a new kind of citizen journalism. We are going to give you the news as we see it. And we want more people to speak up with us. We need writers and hosts and anchors and camera people, sound people, and the whole gamut. The times require a new way of informing ourselves. So join us, do it now. Email us at info@creativetucson.org to get involved. And if you think there's a story that we're missing, a person who we should interview, an upcoming event we should cover, or any news tips for us, shoot us an email to info@creative.org. We are here for you, and we want to cover all the stories from all points of view, so don't be strangers.
Well, this was 5 on 20 News. My name is Richard Aguirre.
And I'm Tammy King.
So while you're on your computer, go ahead and like and share this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's where you can find all the latest Creative Tucson news and content. You can also feel free to get in touch with us at info@creativetucson.org. Thank you for watching, and stay creative, Tucson.